In a world brimming with complexity, how can authentic leadership serve as a beacon for your organization? Today, we delve into the essence of authentic leadership within the context of evolutionary organizations. How do we navigate these complexities to foster a culture of innovation and resilience? Well, rise and shine, leaders. This is Glen Guyton, keynote speaker and workplace trainer. It's time for your executive coffee break. I've got my beverage in hand. I hope you have yours too. They say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your workplace culture and your beverage. Today, I moved away from the coffee. I'm feeling a little dehydrated, so I have my enhanced water here. Uh, Hopefully, you have something good to drink. Understand that leadership matters, so you might as well get good at it. So, as we start today, the nature of complexity of today's organizations, that's what we want to start with today. Organizations today face unprecedented challenges. The markets are changing rapidly. There's so much uncertainty in the political realm. We have technological advances, and we have a globalized workforce. This complexity requires a new type of leadership. Authentic leaders in these Teal, remember we kind of are pulling some references from this book here. Authentic leaders in Teal organizations navigate this complexity not through tighter control, but through empowerment, transparency, and a deep connection to their organization's evolutionary purpose. Again, we've been talking about purpose and ensuring that the people that work for you understand your purpose, and that will help you navigate a lot of the complexity. It will help you navigate a lot of the disruption that is on the horizon for your workplace. And disruption is going to happen. I think we thought something like the global pandemic would never happen. It happens. We thought something like the racial unrest of 2020 was behind us. It probably isn't. So we need authentic leadership. And what does that look like in action? What does authentic leadership look like? And where does authentic leadership come from? What is it? Authentic leadership is a leadership style that emphasizes building the leader's legitimacy. You like that, right? Building the leader's legitimacy through honest relationships with followers, which value their input and are part of an ethical foundation. Authentic leaders are positive, truthful, and open. I love that. I'm going to say that again. Authentic leaders are positive. You have a good attitude. You can't come into the workplace. Oh, I just hate this place. This place sucks. Playing take this job and shove it. You can't be playing that all day long if you are a supervisor, if you're a leader. Truthful. That's the key right there. Um, Leaders have to be truthful. I told someone the other day that it's just easy for me to be transparent as a leader and truthful as a leader because then I don't have to remember the lie. I don't have to keep up with things and stories that aren't a part of who I am. If you're just authentic, if you just tell the truth. Now you don't always have to say everything. That's not what I'm saying, but don't lie. But if you lie, if you make up things, if you talk about people behind your back as a leader, behind their back as a leader, then you have to keep up with all that stuff. It takes too much time, too much energy. And authentic leaders are open to what? Open to new things. They promote openness by sharing information needed to make decisions. They accept their followers, their teammates' inputs, and they have ethical standards. They have a code. They have a personal code that emphasizes trust, respect, and integrity. And integrity is basically acting the same way regardless of who is around. They don't brown nose, they don't switch it up based on their audience, but they are consistent. We need consistent leaders. This approach encourages leaders to be aware of their values, exercise self discipline in their actions, and they lead with heart and compassion, aiming to inspire and empower those that lead. Someone asked me where do good leaders come from, and I said part of it is just really knowing yourself, understanding who you are as a leader, being comfortable in your own skin. Now we spend a lot of time uh, in the workplace talking about inclusion, talking about justice, talking about you know how do we live with our differences in the workplace. Well, part of it is being comfortable with who you are, and then allowing other people to be comfortable with who they are. Again, in the context and the scope of the purpose of what we do and in our workplace. You can't just come in and say, "Hey, I like to sleep from 12 to 2." No, that doesn't align with the company values. But what I'm saying is understanding and having a keen sense of who you are is really part of authentic leadership. Many times as we do training in the workplace, we're really focused on the other person, right? And that's not a bad thing in the sense that we do want to be empathetic and we do want to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. That's really how we start bridging this gap with differences. But first of all, you have to understand who you are. You have to be comfortable with who you are, the positives and the negatives, and then learn what that means when you interact with other people. You hear what I'm saying? There's so many people that don't know who they are, so many leaders that don't know who they are, and they try to emulate other people, and they don't do it well because they don't have that same skill set. They don't have the same experiences. So first of all, it's knowing who you are, knowing your limitations. I know for a fact that I'm not the most empathetic boss. I know that I am a Gen X leader. I know that I am black. I tell people I've been black a long time, about 50 some years now. I know all those things about me, and then I understand how that shapes the perception of other people, how I come across. I know that I am a male leader. I am a male leader with a significant amount of power and authority. That shapes how I work with younger leaders. That shapes how I work with women in the workplace. That shapes how I work with a number of people because I understand the bias that I may have. I understand the limitations that I have. I understand even my own preferences of leadership. So I build my teams in a certain way that allows me to be more effective and allows them to be able to do their work in the most effective way. So knowing yourself is a key part of this authentic leadership. Don't try to be a leader that you aren't. Don't try to lead from a style that you're not comfortable with because eventually it will break down and then you're going to revert back to the worst uh, parts of yourself, the worst parts of your leadership, and then you get yourself in trouble in the workplace. So we want to though create authentic leadership so people are open to give us input. They'll feel like we value the things that they have to say, and we'll get the job done because we're really clear about these are the values of the organization that we're a part of. This is our mission. These are the things that we do, and we're going to execute them. But we're going to allow you some creativity. We're going to allow you some flexibility in order to get us over the goal line, if you will, the proverbial goal line, if you want a sports analogy. So, a couple of things that we want to do. We want to, as we think about authentic leadership, ultimately we want to build resilience and foster innovation in the workplace. Building resilience, we want people to come to work, to be ready to work, to perform well. We don't want them calling out sick. We don't want them uh, folding under pressure. But we want to build resilience in the workplace so that we can get through disruption. But also we want to do new and exciting things. So, who are some examples of maybe authentic leaders that build resilience and foster innovation? Maybe I'm just going to give a couple of big names, a couple of billionaire names. Howard Schultz would be one of them, the former CEO of Starbucks. I mean, he created a cultural phenomenon. Many of you all are probably drinking Starbucks, watching this broadcast, or you have a Starbucks cup at home. Schultz is celebrated for his genuine commitment to creating a positive work environment and investing in his employees. If you know anything about Starbucks, actually, I used to be a barista at Starbucks. Yeah, I did it for a while back when early on before it was just this crazy craze. I worked at Starbucks and we had the manual machines where you actually had to grind the beans and actually had to know how to pack the espresso. Like back in the good old days, I worked at Starbucks, and we didn't have just a push button machines. I actually had to know a little bit about how to even steaming the milk, foaming the milk. Like it's an art to that to get the bubbles just right. But now they just stick the cup up there. I mean, some of the beauty of Starbucks is gone. Gone. I think now that it's just become such a big organization. But Schultz created that, and Howard Schultz had a great vision for that. He's also recognized for his commitment and stance on social issues, demonstrating a commitment to both the community and the environment, embodying the essence of authentic leadership by being true to his values and beliefs and inspiring trust and loyalty to followers and employees. And this is early on. He's not, things change in the company, but I think early on he really displayed this sense of authentic leadership. And I loved working at Starbucks. It was a great place to work. The values shown through uh, the way the company was organized, and even the product. Those things shown through, and so I think that's important for us as leaders to understand that hey, you can be profitable and you can still connect your values and give a sense of who you are through the work that you do. Actually, I think that really enhances organizations when they are driven again by purpose, not just by profit. Profit will happen if you have a good product and if you are, I think, really authentic in how you roll that product out to the customers, the clients. Another example of authentic leadership. Again, I'm going with the billionaires today. Sir Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group, known for his unconventional leadership style. Right, unconventional. That's part of what we're talking about. We want to be innovative. We want to be different. Branson prioritizes employees' well-being and champions social and environmental causes. His approach to leadership is deeply rooted in authenticity, characterized by empathy, transparency, and a continuous pursuit of personal and organizational growth. I like the fact that personal growth. I know Richard Branson. He's a kind of eccentric, right? He does things outside of what you would expect for maybe one of these rich company owners. And so, um, personal growth is part of it. Going back to what I said about knowing yourself, personal development is really key for leaders. Make sure that if you are a leader, that you are getting additional knowledge, that you are learning to grow, and also make sure you're creating a pathway for your employees to grow and learn to get better. And sometimes when you do that, some employees will leave because you've helped them to get smarter, and sometimes they'll stay. But investing in your employees will make a difference, and it will also help you as you think about employee retention. Part of it, retention now is developing these employees. We need to develop our workforce from within. I think that's really important as college becomes more expensive. And as the pressure of student loans and all those things increase, we can train our own workforce. We can create the type of worker that we need and that will do well for us. And so invest in your people. Well, in the face of complexity, resilience becomes key. Authentic leaders and organizations build resilience by focusing on relationships, emotional intelligence, and fostering a sense of community. That's really important in the workplace, especially as we do more remote work. You're going to have to find new ways of creating a sense of community. Not by just forcing people to come to work from 8 to 5, but you may have a specific work day in the office. Do some creative things on those days. Um, embrace these changes and embrace the uncertainty that we have. That will open the door to innovation and allowing you to get better, more committed people, and it will allow the organization to adapt and thrive in this ever-changing environment. Things aren't going back to the way they were. It'll never be 2019 ever again. If you think it is, you're wrong. 2019 is gone. It really is. This world is changing so fast, and I know I've been around for a little bit. I'm not that old, but I've been around for a little bit, and things have ramped up. My parents were quite a bit older. My biological father was born in 1907, so I heard some stories. But look, things have changed. Like really, things are really crazy now, and so good leaders, good organizations will adapt to that, and they'll have a key sense of who they are, and they'll be able to ride through some of this disruption when others will fold. So before we close, I challenge you to reflect on your leadership style. How can you embody more authenticity in your role? How can you do that? So this week, try one action that brings you closer to authentic leadership. Perhaps it's a transparent conversation with your team, or a moment to reflect on your organization's purpose. Share your experiences and insights in the LinkedIn comments. Let's learn from each other and let's grow together. And I will add a link to the LinkedIn rebroadcast and a link to the YouTube. To help you have some of these conversations, I'll put my conversation cards in the description. And again, that'll be on the repost for LinkedIn, but it'll be in the YouTube video. So let's not forget the strength and perseverance it takes to lead with empathy and inclusivity. Better leaders get better results. So to everyone you leading the charge for a more supportive and engaging workplace, I leave you with this. Stay bold, stay inspired, and remember that your actions today shape the culture of tomorrow. I'm Glen Guyton. You all have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day.